Well, I'm back again, and I have to be honest with you, it's not been an easy 24 hours. Mm. Some personal law of attraction kind of trauma events. Well, I'd have to say it's been that way for about a month or more. And I think the reason for that is that this is a very significant month. It's the one girl or the 10th month in a journey. My commitment is to share with you my journey, even what I'm doing to some degree at least, and then just show you what you might expect. Now, the reason I'm showing you is that this is about a sequence. This graphic you've seen many times before. I think it's the magic bullet. It just happens to be the sequence of all of the months of the year. This is the path I'm on. I'm committed to spending a month in each one of these locations. What are these locations? These locations are numbered positions in my family tree. All of the ones in the dark shade are from my mother's family. Most of you will know that. Inside this dark shade, there are some triangles. Those are men. And there are circles inside of circles, and that's feminine. These are three specific grandmothers from my mother's side. This is my mother's mother, her mother, and my mother's father's mother. This is her son, my mother's father. This is my great-grandfather, mother's mother's father. This is my great-grandfather, mother's father's father. I know it's a lot of mothers and fathers at the same time, but they're people. I know it's weird, but our genetic code is woven together by people and is the consolidated memory of their emotions and sometimes their gifts and abilities, and I think even an occasional moment of feeling loving is also remembered too, though I'm a little bit cynical about some of that, and that's my personal issue. This is mother's side of the family. So month by month, I took 6 months to go through these 6 grandparents. And this is the equinox right here at the cusp between mother's family and father's family. This is the passion of the rising sun in the spring. Spring flowers, spring heat, spring warmth. This is when the flowers really begin to bloom. And this is the peak of the summer. This 6-boy function is called the solstice, the highest light of the year. His daughter, this is, by the way, father's mother's father. His daughter is obviously father's mother. This is called the one girl position. Right now, I'm in the 4th week of this one girl month. It's only been the 2nd day of the 4th week. I know it's odd, but each one of the weeks, like phases of the moon, have different emotional impact. And going to here is, I find, not easy. Now, why that's not easy is lots of theoretical reasons I can give you, but it's 3 sets of 3. Now, the interesting thing is these sets of 3 are one season: the autumn season, the winter season, the spring season. And then the last set of 3 is the summer season. They're linked together, but they're somewhat definitive. very different in the winter solstice versus the summer solstice. And they're very much a kind of a binary system of fluid dynamics. Now, to go to this one, which is the one girl, on the 10th month is much like 9 months of gestation, leading to the emergence of this attribute quality that I sometimes call number one girl. Now, I'm going to show you a graphic relative to the family tree. Looks a bit like this, just to help you understand it. This is my father's mother. This is my mother's side of the family. This is my father's side of the family. We're really only talking about father's mother. We sometimes have to describe that as the matriarch. Behind me is imagery of an elephant and baby elephant, mother, powerful bear, mother, and this is obviously not a bear, this is a kangaroo and mother. So this is a lot about what the symbology of the will. Sometimes we used to call it the will to survive. I don't use that terminology anymore because it's not possible to not survive. So I don't think, will to survive. I don't use it. You can use whatever you want, but it's also mineral kingdom. So it's a connection between the element of the earth. Number one girl is earth. Her opposite, one boy, which is also the one boy on the opposite side of the world, that's air. So it's earth and air. Her husband is fire. His wife is water. So you have earth and air and fire and water. Yeah, that's not so challenging, really. But this is the mineral kingdom element of the mountain, because the mountain element is the mineral element. So let me just show you another picture for a moment. Looks like this. This is the mineral kingdom that feeds the plant kingdom that feeds the animal kingdom. And the other kingdoms, the pink, white, and blue, well, they're there too, but they're beyond the range of senses. So mineral kingdom, yeah, I would urge you to do yourself a great deal of good. Go find the most beautiful composite pictures of all the minerals of the earth and just spend time with them. Or go over to the periodic table of chemistry and look at all the elements there, because they're exactly precise. And they're quite binary in what one is and is not the next one. So the mineral kingdom is the primary kingdom that feeds the plant kingdom. It's, of course, only delivered most of the time by water. There are minerals that float in the air. Nitrogen is one of them. Carbon's another, but we won't get into all of that. But this is the mineral kingdom. Every single thing in the green plant kingdom, sometimes called the second month of summer, or another grandmother number 3, that's father's mother. That comes next month. One girl, mineral kingdom. 3 girl, plant kingdom. 5 girl, animal kingdom. They're also diameters of magnitude. Self, others, and all. Weird, I know, but the mineral kingdom. Now here's where I made a mistake. I've made lots of mistakes because I really did see this position as a matriarch. I saw it as the matriarch elephant, the matriarch bear, the kangaroo, the matriarch mother generating, because she's always involved in other people's lives. Number one girls, they typically will feed you or tell you what to do. You know, they're the most common birth order on earth. There's even more number one girls than there are number one boys, because you find out the number one boys are more yin, fragile. A lot of them don't make it through birth, and there's a lot more of these very strong capable #1 girls in the world because they're just annoying. Well, okay, I consider them annoying. I've got personal issues with #1 girls. And by spending 4 weeks, hour to hour, week to week, taking every feeling of every day, all from sunrise to sunset and beyond, to feel more and more of my #1 girl, I've had several shocking events, because if you sincerely desire to want to know the truth about this attribute within your own being, it's not about a girl. It's not about a boy. It's about a soul-based spiritual capacity. And I can't give you a better word for it. I'm still groping for the right word. Is it soul? No, I don't think it's just soul. Is it will? Yeah, well, that's really hard to define sometimes. Is it the will to thrive and grow? And yeah, it has a lot to do with all that stuff. But the reality is, no, no, I don't think it's that. You can call it existence if you want. You can call it consciousness. You can call it conscience if you want, but it's an inalienable right to exist. It is a singularity of the manifestation of one soul being born through the canal of the mother, being gifted into the world as a discrete individual. And it's really not related to her family almost at all. Her family is a way to acquire it, and there are attributes around the #1 girl, but it has to do with the singular existence of me in the material world. It's about occupying the material world. Let's go back to the other graphic for a split second here, and it may look a little bit like this. Remember this one again? All of this dark side is happening inside my interior feeling, water systems, pancreatic functions, thyroid functions, skin functions. These are all inside me. Then, when you take all of this and you go into the process of conception and you go into birth, this is the materialization of everything here to be manifested into the material world. Okay, I know that sounds out there, but it's really not. It's about the manifestation of all of this, feelings oriented, all of my family tree from my feminine side, all manifested as a physical outcome in the world. It's about the will. It's about my existence, whatever you want to call it. Shocking, actually. So what was shocking to me is I had a consultation yesterday that, wham, I got, a perfect law of attraction from a bitterly, angrily, aggressive, rage-driven #1 girl to get right in my face. What am I going to do with a bitter, angry, rageful woman? Well, of course, I would really like to be able to blame her for my law of attraction. That's a sophisticated, way of chuck and jive your way out of it. But no, I sat right there in the middle of a consultation having a mother basically scream at me in rage. I'd never had anything like that in a consultation before. And I knew instantly I better do my protocol right now. So I sat there for a significant period of time doing I'm noticing I'm not triggered by an angry reaction. I noticed as I was doing my protocol, I'm triggered by the presence of shock. I'm still in shock 24 hours later. And I know to have a very personal event from experience, I have about 4 days to re-access that law of attraction moment. And I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm not blaming her at all. She's my law of attraction, exactly on my one girl month. And I'm asking, feeling, praying about, wanting to know the truth about my own denial about number one girl. And yeah. Now, is it possible I have an angry oriented rage inside of me somewhere? Yes. Even if I don't feel it. She's my law of attraction. Now, normally I do pretty good with the yang-oriented aggressive women. You just compliment them enough times and I can pander to most of them, right? Because I can, pander my way through, an emotionally aggressive, female demanding woman because I pander to them. You know what pandering is? It's a lie. Pandering is a facade. Pandering is a way to avoid anger or emotional aggression or manipulation or seduction by, well, anyway, you know what pandering is. I'm pretty good at it. So in that moment, I was shocked that my interior pandering wasn't working very well and was exposed. Wow. Thank you. Now, I'm not interested in getting out of my situation. No way. I want to take the crowbar and while this is moving to open it so I can use my 2-girl, 4-girl cleaning machine, my water thing, and help to clean and open and let all of that old ancestral bitter anger, hurt, hatred, rage stuff. My father's family is not pretty. Maybe yours was, but mine's not. My 6th boy was a violent man who abused his daughter, my father's mother. My father's mother abused her number one son, which was my father. And well, long story short, the avalanche of pain keeps moving. We all have it. But what I learned about number one girl, and I'm still learning, it's not about group phenomena. I used to say number one girl was, well, the central threshold of matriarchy, and it's about taking care of her brothers and sisters, and it's about feeding people and telling them what to do, and it's how to be a better matriarch and lift that up to others in a community. And pretty soon she's a teacher or a healer or this or that, and you name it. There's all these different ways that one girl does a 3-girl liver pancreatic exchange, because that's really where it is the liver. 3-girl, a whole nother story about it, but that's a 1 girl in a community function, maybe multiplying it by tens of thousands, maybe even more if you live in a city. You could be in a city and your community might be 3 million, but your blood relatives in your house are just a few. Now, I'm an advocate to say, wait, you better consider how much of your inner world is transmitted, controlled by, and dictates in many ways your constitutional framework. Now, the place it primarily comes from is women. Now, I'm not being harsh about women on this, as my opinion is that 80% of your interior biochemical relationship with your mother in the womb, gestation and otherwise, 80% is involved in how you process your biochemical world and your mother's milk, and your whole metabolic system is regulated by your mother's side of the family. And by the way, the powerhouse of your interior energy is controlled by your mitochondrial function. And you may not know it, I'm sure most of you do. The mitochondrial function is only transmitted by the mother. only mother to daughter. So in this sequence, the mother's mother got it from her mother. So I'm not trying to confuse you. This is about the mitochondrial function that regulates all vital force of assimilation, digestion, processes energy in the body, ruled by a genetic set of ancestors that I would suggest that you develop a appreciation for and an emotional embodiment of, but that's a whole nother story. I'm back to one girl. Well, she's the primary manifestation of those. Now, let me give you one more picture about a one girl. You ready? Now, this is a graphic I put out on the internet and had an artist do this graphic for me. Several times we redid it, and this was my attempt to describe. This is a ladder with 6 rungs. Yes, that's a chakra system. Yes, that's the spheres and of the earthly realm, because there are 6 spectrums of this in the earthly realm, and yada yada. This is a ladder, right? And this in the lower section, maybe you can't see it very well, but there are figures of people coming out of the darkness of collective, whatever you want to call it, unconsciousness, subconsciousness, dark evil, whatever, materialization. This is a dark realm. Then gradually it moves up. And yes, I tried to do cute things by putting his right foot on the 1st rung and his left hand on the 5th rung, and this green going right through the chest realm. No. There's a lot more here than you might be willing to see, but I'm trying to demonstrate something that is a one girl attribute. It's not about a gender. That's a man. It's not about a gender. To be a one boy or a one girl, it's not about a gender. We call it a name, a little acronym called one girl, but it's about climbing the ladder. And the only way that you climb the ladder is have an intentional desire to want to be completely responsible for your own feelings, reactions, choices, and so on and so on and so on. Can you do it? I can't. If you can do it, I'd certainly like to hear about it, because the lower levels of the 1st rung have to do with biochemical. How are you with mastery of everything you put in your mouth? If you can master that, you're doing better than I can, because I still like those warm chocolate chip cookies. They just get me, right? Okay, so that's biochemical interior responsibility. How are you at the 3 level? The 3 level just means that you operate in your community with benign, benevolent kindness and sharing and equilibrium and resources. Everything is equally, just harmonically shared, and you're doing all that with perfect equilibrated wisdom, right? Wisdom is 3. Can you do it? I can't. One girl has a singularity to rise out of her own family. Your blood relatives, all very nice, and they give you all the genetic code, but no, sooner or later you've got to rise out of your blood relatives and go out, you know that, and create some more blood relatives, and you marry somebody else from a different ancestral line and somebody from a different cultural line or religious something, and can you provide a harmonic relationship in relationship 3? I mean, are your 3 and your 4 working for you? Well, thank you. Send me a little message about how to do it. I can't do it, because that means you have to have a singular responsibility that every single thing that you do in the dynamics of relationships is with feeling and forgiveness and humility, and you live nearly a perfect, pristine life in your community. I can't do it. It's really hard. Oh, Did I mention you have to go up the ladder? So you're going to be able to do that letter of going to the 5th level, which, by the way, the 5th happens to be global. Self, others, all. The first phase of the all is global. Do you have intended compassion for all living things? Animals, birds, people, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, no, conservatives, no, wait, church this, church that, God this, God that, that alien this. How are you with the government, and how are you with banks and militaries? Well, excuse me, but how are you about the Illuminati or the rich or the poor or those damn Irish, or no, wait, the Catholics, no, the Protestants, no, those Brazilians? If anybody should really piss you off, it should be, no, it should be somebody, right? Can you do 6? No, I've got an issue with 6, by the way. What's 6? Authority, bureaucracy, government. You don't have an issue with 6? Well, let's tell me how. I'm still working this thing about having the singularity to be in the middle of all of those 6s of the world. You know how many religions we have? Well, there's an estimate of maybe 20,000 different religions. There's 3,000 different Christian religions, whatever that means. And you think I'm intolerant of some of them? But not, yes, me. I'm intolerant of them. You know what one girl is? Maintaining your constitutional integrity at all of those levels without a wiggle or a fart. Can you do that? That's one girl. It's not about a gender. It's the very first step in the materialization. That means bringing the divine into your body. Yeah, I know a lot of people would go, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to God. Well, sorry. You have to take me with you. Sorry. You thought you could go alone? Well, I'm just sharing with you my one girl month, and I'm not done with it. I'm a little nervous about it. I got another 5 days to go. Who knows what's coming next? I'm almost intending to stay hiding in the house because who knows what's going to come. It's probably going to be some, well, who knows what the law of attraction brings. So this is my one girl month. But I'm real excited because I like the 3 girl month. You give me that plant kingdom anytime. I'll hug a redwood tree any day. But a big angry woman who wants to rip my throat out, I can't quite. Well, I'm looking forward to the 3 girl month, at least I think I am. You know, I'm a little frightened to see what comes next. Yes, do I have fear? Of course I have fear. This stuff frightens me. So those of you who are considering, doing this, to go through month after month after month of, hour after hour after hour of taking your family tree one at a time, gland, organ, body system, and you want to do that, sure, you could go get a job and have more fun for a while, but I don't know. If you want to do this, you better, tie your shoelaces and buckle your belt or put your seatbelt on, because this brings you the opportunity to feel, if you have a sincere desire to want to feel and grow. If you don't, stay home, watch television. Invite me over, by the way, but make a good dessert first. But those warm chocolate chip cookies, I'll be your friend forever. See ya.